Good evening, I'm Ian Hannamansing. Tonight, Canada's Olympic soccer stars set their sights on gold.
Yes, you can, Canada!
Canada's women settle the score against an old rival.
I honestly never thought we were going to lose.
The kick that secured a spot on the podium and one player's place in the history books. Rising concerns about a fourth wave of COVID in Canada and the unvaccinated who are ending up in hospital.
In their last moments before we had to put them on a ventilator, were asking for the vaccine.
A rash of coyote attacks in Vancouver.
This is behavior that we have not seen from coyotes around the world.
Why people could be to blame. And what wine do you order at a restaurant?
Not the cheapest, but also not the most expensive either.
There could be a better way to get more bang for your buck. This is The National. For the first time, a Canadian soccer team is one win away from Olympic gold. This after the women's team defeated their longtime U.S. rival in a stunning upset. When they met in the semifinal, Canada, the definite underdog, their last victory against the U.S. was 2 decades ago, and there was a score to be settled after a controversial matchup in London in 2012. Thomas Douglas shows us how this team did it.
They've been here before and have rarely come out on top. Canada's women's soccer team facing the Americans, arch rivals they haven't managed to beat in 20 years. This time, in a virtually empty stadium, every kick and every stop echoed through the stands, as if to reflect the weightiness of this particular match. After all, you could say these two teams have a history. At the London Olympics 9 years ago, it was questionable refereeing and an infamous penalty kick that propelled Team USA to victory. Fitting then that this time a penalty went to Canada, and Jessie Fleming made the most of it. Too steady to be crushed by the weight of history.
In that moment, I was just thinking, like, just hit it properly, hit it where I want it. I wasn't really thinking about anything else.
As the final whistle blew, the results sunk in. Canada's biggest ever Olympic soccer victory and a bruising disappointment for the World Cup winning Americans. After the initial shock, though, came this.
Not, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Go win it.
You know, now that they beat us, go get that gold.
If anyone can appreciate the weight of this moment, it's Christine Sinclair, the face of the Canadian team through ups and downs, now more confident than ever in her squad and the impact they're having on the game back home.
I honestly never thought we were going to lose, and that's the confidence that we have as a team now.
Canada will face Sweden Thursday night Canadian time in the gold medal game. But Captain Christine Sinclair is already thinking about the future and how this experience might move Canada one step closer to having its own professional women's soccer team at home. Thomas Douglas, CBC News, Kashima, Japan.
Canada's appearance in the gold medal match isn't the only first for the women's team. With the assurance of either gold or silver, midfielder Quinn will become the first openly transgender and non-binary athlete to win an Olympic medal. The 25-year-old from Toronto came out publicly as transgender last fall. Quinn says they came out in part to be a role model for young people questioning or exploring their gender. Another transgender athlete made history at the Olympic Games today, sparking a lot of discussion about inclusivity in sports. New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard competed Monday, and as Briar Stewart explains, for many, it's about balancing human rights with fairness.
Those lights likely felt a whole lot brighter when Laurel Hubbard stepped out to lift.
First attempt, Laurel Hubbard, New Zealand.
Hubbard is the first transgender woman to compete at the Olympics, and her participation has been contentious.
The RC stance is to make sure we get the right balance between inclusion and then fairness and safety.
Her competitors didn't want to speak about it.
What do you think it means to have the first transgender athlete compete at these games?
I personally won't say anything about that because I know it's a big issue going around about it.
Hubbard used to compete in men's weightlifting before she transitioned in 2013. She's eligible to compete in the Olympics because her testosterone is below a certain level. But some still believe her participation in a women's event is unfair. Tonight, there appeared to be no advantage. She didn't complete any of her lifts. Afterward, she was asked just how she could focus with so much talk swirling around her.
I'm not sure it's possible for any person to really block out everything that's happening in the world, but you just do what you can and get on with it.
The IOC says it will soon release new guidelines around transgender athletes, which take into account human rights and science.
And so what is still unknown about just the effect transitioning has on someone's athletic ability?
Well, almost everything, actually.
Joanna Harper is a scientist conducting studies with athletes who've transitioned. She's also an elite runner and transgender.
There's little doubt that trans women will maintain strength advantages. How large those strength advantages are is uncertain.
The discussion around advantages extends further than just trans athletes.
Semenya now taking the lead, looking fresh and powerful.
Gold medalist Caster Semenya was banned from running in the 800 meters this year because she wouldn't take drugs to lower her naturally high testosterone. As for Hubbard, before she competed, she thanked the IOC for making sport inclusive and accessible.
No, it's gone out the back door.
And when she was done, she showed her appreciation for those in the crowd cheering her on. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Tokyo.
Poland has granted a humanitarian visa to the Belarusian athlete that we told you about last night, who made a plea for help, saying she feared for her safety. Sprinter Krystyna Timanowskaja was seen entering the Polish embassy in Tokyo. She says she was barred from competing and then taken to the airport by Belarusian officials against her will after criticizing the team's management on social media. The autocratic government of Belarus has faced international condemnation for cracking down on perceived dissidents. And U.S. gymnast Simone Biles will return to competition. She'll take part in the balance beam finals tomorrow. This just over a week after she removed herself from competition to focus on her mental health. Since then, she's been praised for starting a conversation around the mental wellness of Olympic athletes. Now to the growing fears of a fourth wave of COVID-19 in Canada. While most provinces aren't updating case numbers over this long weekend, for those that have, they keep going up, and the trend is already clear. Canada's average daily new cases have been rising for nearly 2 weeks to an average of nearly 700. COVID hospitalizations are still lower, but that number typically lags cases by about 2 weeks. And 2 weeks ago, cases hadn't started rising yet. Meanwhile, Canada's vaccine rollout is losing momentum. A month ago, administering an average of more than 540,000 shots a day, it is now half that. The percentage of the total population with at least one dose still just over 70%, fully vaccinated less than 60%. As Ellen Morrow shows us, the question now is whether that's high enough to keep the Delta variant at bay.
Canada may have one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, but still the threat remains.
We can't approach this as if COVID is over, because the truth is it's not. We don't really know how the situation is going to play out in the fall.
The fall, when federal officials warn a fourth wave could sweep across the country unless more Canadians get vaccinated, and soon. In Alberta, where the province is rolling back efforts to test and trace, COVID-19 is spreading rapidly. Calgary's cases doubled just last week.
Uncontrolled outbreaks is what allow viruses to mutate. That's where variations come from. And man, I don't want to unleash an Alberta variant on the world.
The rise already being fueled by the highly contagious Delta variant and the unvaccinated. About 1 in 5 eligible Canadians still haven't had even one dose, a choice costing some their lives, says this critical care doctor.
I can give you real stories of people that have not got the vaccine, that in their last moments when they could speak before we had to put them on a ventilator, and highly regretted the choice they'd made.
But momentum in Canada's vaccine rollout has waned. In London, Ontario, 21,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine will soon expire, even as 20% of eligible residents there still haven't gotten a shot. In Toronto, pop-up clinics are targeting specific communities where vaccination rates are lower.
There are people who are still hesitant or not sure where to go, or they just can't make it based on schedule.
Please get vaccinated. COVID is for real.
Jeffrey Friedman was hospitalized for 44 days last year, most of them on a ventilator. He still suffers with symptoms today.
Nobody should go through what I went through with my family. Anybody should get this vaccination that is available to you.
So, Ellen, what are experts saying a fourth wave might look like in Canada?
Well, Ian, they do expect cases to continue to rise in the fall, with kids, so many of them too young to get a shot, going back to school. But this time, a rise in cases doesn't mean that we'll also see a rise in hospitalizations like with previous waves, at least among those who've gotten their vaccines. As it stands right now, Ian, about 6 million eligible Canadians have not received a shot and remain vulnerable.
All right, Ellen, thank you.
You're welcome.
And in the U.S., there is a new push underway to get more Americans vaccinated as that Delta variant fuels a surge in cases.
As of Saturday, CDC reported the 7-day moving average of daily new COVID-19 cases to be about 72,000 cases per day. This represents an increase of 44% from the prior 7-day average and higher than our peak of last summer.
And Florida has become the latest COVID epicenter in that country. The state now recording the highest number of cases and hospitalizations since the start of the pandemic. 70% of adults in that country now have at least one vaccine dose, a goal U.S. President Joe Biden aimed to hit nearly a month ago. Here at home, an independent investigation is underway into the police shooting death of a black man in a Montreal suburb. His mother says she called 911 for help to get her mentally distressed son to hospital. As Sarah Levitt reports, what happened next is in dispute.
Instead of getting help, he got 3 bullets.
Pain and anger today in Repentigny near Montreal. A mother in mourning after police shot and killed her son, Jean-René Junior Olivier.
C'est moi qui ai appelé la police.
I'm the one who called police, says Marie-Mireille Benz. I was worried when he grabbed a steak knife and said he was seeing people who wanted to hurt him. She says when police arrived, she was told to go inside and lock the door. That's when she heard the gunshots. Police say the 37-year-old was threatening officers with the knife in his hand and that they tried using pepper spray before opening fire. Olivier's family, though, says witnesses told them he dropped the knife before he was shot.
These cops are supposed to protect us. They didn't do that. They did not do that. They killed them, and now we have to bury a mother's son.
This comes after years of racial profiling complaints against Repentigny police. Complaints confirmed by Quebec's Human Rights Commission, which has ruled against the department 4 times in 2 years. Last year, Repentigny police hired a consulting firm to help address issues of inclusivity and racial profiling, all while denying there was a systemic problem.
Sachez que nous l'avons entendu.
The police chief says they hear Olivier's family and offer their sympathy, and they're working to rebuild bridges with the black community. This death raises questions about how officers intervene when someone is in crisis.
A mental health crisis is often a really sensitive and highly stigmatized situation. It's really just about making sure that the right person with the right tools is responding to the right situation.
J'attends la justice pour mon fils.
Ben says it's too late for her son. Now she wants justice for his death. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Police, meanwhile, say multiple people have been shot in Montreal's East End tonight. Dozens of police cars and paramedics responding to the scene. Police say it appears the shots were fired from a vehicle into an apartment building and that the victims were all in the same apartment. The extent of their injuries is still unclear. The U.S. is expanding its program to accept more Afghan refugees, including those who worked for U.S.-funded NGOs and media outlets. As Judy Trin explains, it could mean safety for thousands now threatened by the Taliban. And it raises new questions about what Canada is willing to do for its Afghan allies.
As American forces exit Afghanistan, the Taliban advances, putting lives of local U.S. allies at risk.
Our
obligation, I believe, is in the first instance to make sure that we are making good on our commitments to those who, in particular, put themselves on the line.
Afghan translators who worked with U.S. soldiers already granted refugee status are arriving at U.S. bases. Now the Biden administration is promising safety for aid workers and journalists who worked with American organizations.
Those journalists in Afghanistan really will face increased risk with the U.S. military withdrawal. It's expected that, according to U.S. intelligence reports, that the Afghan government might collapse within 6 months of the U.S. withdrawing its military fully.
But there are more strings attached this time. This second group of refugees will need to get themselves out of Afghanistan and wait in third countries for a year for their claims to be processed.
We're pursuing third country agreements, so eligible Afghans can be quickly relocated to wait safely in another country while we finish elements of this rigorous vetting process.
Canada has also offered refuge to Afghan interpreters, but this publisher of a newspaper in Kabul, who now lives in Vancouver, says journalists and activists are also in harm's way.
Whenever they are going out of home, they say their final goodbye to their families. Yes, there is no guarantee, there is no assurance.
In a statement from Canada's Minister of Immigration, the government said it will help settle interpreters, cooks, drivers, cleaners, construction workers, women's rights advocates, and their family members, and that it will take an inclusive and compassionate approach to Afghanistan. Unlike Washington, Ottawa did not offer a timeline as the Taliban swiftly advances. Potentially, the thousands of Afghans seeking refugee status in Canada face a process that could take years. Judy Trin, CBC News, Washington.
A series of coyote attacks in Vancouver's Stanley Park has visitors and conservationists on edge.
It's highly unusual. I mean, this is a behavior that we have not seen from coyotes around the world. This is something that is unprecedented.
Up next, what's behind the rise in aggressive incidents? Plus, the truth behind the prices on restaurant wine lists.
People think that restaurants get discounts on wine. It's actually the opposite.
What that reality means for your selection and your bill. And later, moving the needle in Tokyo.
The one thing that has kept me sane throughout this whole process is my love for knitting and crochet and all things stitching.
The British Olympian's poolside hobby that has so many people talking. We're back in 2. The harvest has started early in some parts of Manitoba. It's already been a tough growing season marked by hot weather and drought. Now it's those very conditions that have created a new threat and put farmers in a race against time. Riley Lachuk explains.
That's just totally grasshoppers. And you don't have to go very far in.
On his farm near Dauphin, Manitoba, Kevin Thompson surveys the damage.
It's been a constant battle.
It's been a summer of extreme heat, little rain, and now this. Grasshoppers, a lot of them, eating away at his crops.
It's been challenging, I guess, would be a good way to put it, with maybe a late frost in the spring and heat, bugs. It's been the whole gamut.
He's already sprayed his field 3 times, but the number of these bugs is booming.
Grasshoppers, they do much better under hot, dry conditions. If it's hot, they start laying eggs earlier. If they get hot, dry throughout the summer, they will lay closer to their maximum number of eggs.
The insects are just the latest consequence of what's been a summer of drought across the province. 15 communities have now declared a state of agricultural disaster. And it's not just farms. People in the city of Morden have been asked to cut back their water use. Restaurants there can't even serve a glass of water unless someone orders it.
And we get purple, yellow.
Back on the farm, Dennis Hepner's fields are also dry.
Our pea crop was written off. Half our alfalfa seed crop has been written off. But yeah, we're hoping we will be around for next year again.
Both Hepner and Thompson expect to survive the summer. Thompson thinks he still can get about half this crop. He considers himself one of the lucky ones.
These farmers put everything into it. This is their livelihood, and everything that happens just slowly takes the top off.
And with harvest already underway in parts of Manitoba, farmers are turning their focus and trying to salvage what they can of crops like these, despite the unrelenting heat, the drought, and the grasshoppers, and just hope that Mother Nature delivers some much-needed rain sometime soon. Riley Lechuk, CBC News, near Dauphin, Manitoba.
In Vancouver, a different threat is raising concerns in Stanley Park. Coyotes, or coyotes, have been attacking people, most recently a toddler. It is highly unusual, and it's not just happening in this city. As Lindsay Duncombe tells us, scientists are looking at what's behind the aggressive behavior.
In the serene beauty of Stanley Park, signs that all is not well.
It is definitely like a really devastating situation that it's even gotten to this point. It's really sad.
Conservation officers caught and euthanized 4 coyotes after a series of aggressive attacks, more than 30 since December. A 2-year-old girl needed medical attention in July after a coyote jumped on her.
It's highly unusual. I mean, this is behavior that we have not seen from coyotes around the world. This is something that is unprecedented.
Researchers are using cameras to try to figure out what's going on. They've captured images of the animals, but also this: late-night partiers, big groups of people going off trails, potentially disruptive and disturbing to coyotes. Where there's people, there's food, and where there's food, coyotes will come. Picnics, garbage cans, even encampments. There's also the possibility the animals may be drunk. A photographer captured these images. That's a whiskey bottle. Autopsies will determine if the euthanized animals were intoxicated.
We can't rule that out, and so that is something that needs to be investigated.
There are lessons from other parts of the country. After a coyote attacked this Yorkie in Scarborough, the city brought in experts to do what's called aversion training with the aggressive coyote.
We use what we call a bag method. It's a large green garbage bag. You fill it with air and you're snapping it and vocalizing to the coyote to get out of the area. We are hoping, that he might get to a level of discomfort and awareness that he won't approach people or a food resource.
The Vancouver Park Board would consider doing something similar.
It's a potential, and it's something that we would look at after the research helps to tell us a little bit more about what might be causing these aggressive incidents.
In the meantime, people in the park are being told to be careful and enjoy the park at their own risk. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Vancouver.
In Israel today, a land dispute that fueled recent violence took a step towards compromise. At question is who gets to live in a neighborhood called Sheikh Jarrah in occupied East Jerusalem. It is a longtime Palestinian area, but Jewish settler claims also go back decades. Salima Shibji shows us the suggested solution.
Outside Israel's highest court, anticipation for a long-awaited verdict. Protesters making their position known. that Palestinian families who have lived for decades in Sheikh Jarrah, the contested neighborhood in occupied East Jerusalem, should not be evicted to make way for Jewish settlers. Inside, those under threat of being displaced filled the courtroom, one saying he had zero faith, but a little hope. They didn't get a ruling, only a proposal, the judges pushing what they see as a compromise. No evictions for the foreseeable future if the families pay rent to the Jewish settlers who claim the land as their own. An idea that pleases no one, not the Palestinians.
Recognizing the Jewish ownership, and you could be only tenants. We oppose that. We still hope that the court will approve our permission to cancel the eviction orders.
Nor the pro-settler groups.
It seems to me that the respected legal system in Israel has capitulated to international and local pressure from the liberal elites.
The fate of Sheikh Jarrah and the looming evictions fueled near-nightly clashes in May, a central spark in the worst violence the region has seen in years. In the midst of it all, the Supreme Court ruling on the evictions was delayed, and today the judges acknowledged that pushing forward would be dangerous. It would also be terrible timing for Israel's new prime minister, head of a fragile coalition prepping to visit the United States later this month. The Biden administration has made it crystal clear it opposes the Sheikh Jarrah evictions. Activists see that as a plus.
We know that the fact that the world has its eyes on Sheikh Jarrah has influenced how the discourse has shifted.
But not by much on the ground. The neighborhood is still under a police blockade, still drowning in uncertainty. Salima Shivji, CBC News, London.
Next, we look ahead to the final week of the Olympic Games and an event still to come.
What should we, as Canadians, expect from you, Evan Dunphy, in Tokyo?
Canadian race walker Evan Dunphy on his hopes and expectations. But first. Great Britain's Tom Daley and Matthew Lee nailed their performance in the men's 10-meter platform. So, when you want to keep your gold medal nice and shiny, what do?
This morning, I made a little cozy for my medal to stop it getting scratched. So here it is.
Turns out Daley's serious about knitting. In Tokyo, he's been working on his projects even while cheering on his teammates, like yoga and visualization. He says it's part of his mindfulness routine. He's also pretty good, creating all sorts of crafty projects for dogs, cats, even humans. Daley describes his knitting as his secret weapon, obviously an effective one. Knit one, purl two, win gold. A triumphant return home for members of Canada's Olympic women's swim team, arriving at Toronto's Pearson Airport late this afternoon. Medalists Penny Alexiak, Maggie McNeil, and Kylie Moss. They were met by fans and well-wishers. The women's swim team amassed 6 medals in Tokyo, equaling its Rio count of 5 years ago. Later this week, Canadian Evan Dunphy will compete in the 50-kilometer race walk event. It will have added significance because the event has been dropped from future Olympic Games. In the lead-up to Tokyo 2020, Andrew spoke with Dunphy about overcoming a big setback in 2016 and then getting ready for these Games.
Evan Dunphy, not a household name, but 5 years ago in Rio, he was all any Canadian could talk about.
And Dunphy has now made a move, and a little bump between the two, almost a body check.
That bump, with Dunphy on the verge of a bronze medal, was devastating. And the drama was just beginning.
Dunphy back in 4th overall.
Canada challenged the bump and won. Dunphy would take bronze, but Japan appealed, and incredibly, Dunphy was bumped again, down to 4th place.
Hiroki and I getting tangled up was completely incidental and unintentional.
He could have kept fighting, but it wasn't how he wanted to win. And besides, there are entirely new battles to fight today, in a sport perpetually in search of the respect it deserves. So, we sat down to talk about what it takes to be the best and why Tokyo may present the toughest challenge yet in keeping Dunphy's race-walking dream alive.
Evan, very nice to meet you here.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so let's get right down to basics here. Race walking. I feel like this must be one of the most underappreciated Olympic sports, mostly because people don't really have a grasp of what's involved and why it's impressive. So can you give me the essence of race walking?
For sure. I like to describe race walking simply as running with rules. We go incredibly long distances. We go further than a marathon, so 50K is 8 kilometers further than a marathon, and we have to do that while maintaining this technique and these rules.
Rules like you have to be walking at all times. There are specifics, right down to how straight your leading leg has to be, and of course, 1 foot on the ground at all times, but it's no less grueling.
I can get my heart rate up to 195 beats a minute through race walking, so you can still work just as hard. Just because you're confined by the technical requirements, you go a little bit slower than you would if you were just running.
It would be tempting to think of race walking as mainly a solo sport, but I think a lot of people would be surprised to know just how much interplay there is between athletes.
Dunphy is really hitting his stride in sensational fashion here.
I was in Rio, and I remember your 50K race that year very well, but I was surprised to learn some of the details that happened before that now infamous bump, right? That even when you were passing your Japanese rival, there were some mind games going on.
I had caught up to that 3rd place athlete, Hiroki Arai from Japan, and he was really suffering, and I knew that, okay, like I want to go flying past him. Like I want him to like feel me go by him, feel the wind as I pass him. And unfortunately, when you're 3 hours and 38 minutes into a race and neither of you can walk in a straight line, it wasn't the best tactic, but the rest is a little bit of history.
So speaking of learning from that history, tactically, when you look back at that, is there anything instructive about that moment?
Absolutely. So funnily enough, in 2019 at our World Championships in Doha, it's the exact same thing. I caught up to the 3rd place athlete, and this time gave that athlete a wide berth and just went flying right by and came home to that bronze medal.
Bronze medalist representing Canada, Evan Dunphy.
So let me ask you this then. What should we, as Canadians, expect from you, Evan Dunphy, in Tokyo?
Well, I guess in Sapporo, I'd hope that Canadians would expect to see me leave it all on the line.
That distinction is an important one. Dunphy's race will be nowhere near Tokyo. It's been moved about 8 hours north by train to cooler weather.
And that's something that kind of ticks you off, right?
Yeah, my correction was mostly tongue-in-cheek because it is something that bugs me. Having my event be taken away from Tokyo, where it's the citizens of Tokyo who are paying billions and billions of dollars for this thing. Having these 5 events, the 3 race walks and the 2 marathons moved 800 kilometers north, where they can't be a part of that, it really ticks me off.
The nature of this pandemic dramatically changes the equation no matter how you look at it. Even if the race were to happen in Tokyo, the kind of thing that you're imagining and that we've seen in previous Olympics may not have happened anyway, right? No fans in the streets.
You're absolutely right, is that we're playing by a whole different set of rules this time, and even if we were in Tokyo, it's more than likely that it would be a closed event and not accessible to the masses anyways, and that's really hard to reckon with for me, and especially with you look at the polls coming out from Tokyo and how the majority of the population doesn't want us there. So it's a really tough thing that I reckon with in terms of kind of being an intruder almost in Tokyo and not being wanted there.
Not a good feeling when you're just months away from hopping on a nearly 7,000-kilometer flight. But there's more. The IOC has decided this will be the last we see of Dunphy's best event, the 50K. It's cutting it from the program because there's no women's version of it. But skeptics like Dunphy think there's more to it.
So the IOC have decided that 50K isn't worth keeping around. It's too long. Part of me thinks they don't like that it's a free event because they can't make money off of it.
But do you feel conflicted then as well about the Olympics writ large and maybe particularly the people who run them?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Seeing the impact the Olympic Games have, it's not all good. I think the Olympic Games do create a ton of value, but at the same time, this last year has been a moment for me to really reflect on the negative impacts the Olympics have on marginalized communities, on just the cost that's left behind. There's something needs to change, and that's another thing that I grapple with.
Right, because you're still going, right, to these Olympics, but I'm listening to the words that you're saying, and I'm wondering, are you grappling with the idea of whether you continue to be part of the Olympic movement in subsequent editions of the Summer Games?
Purely selfishly, no. And I have to admit that it is a purely selfish thing. This is what I've dreamt of since I was 10 years old. I want to be the best in the world at this admittedly niched, strange event, but it's the thing that I've dedicated my life to, and I want to continue to pursue that and see just how good I can be. So from that perspective, I'm pretty hell bent on going. I do wonder what a more positive, equitable Olympics could look like in the future.
Evan Dunphy, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
It's been more than 10 years since an earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear disaster left Japan with scarred landscapes and uninhabitable communities. Tomorrow night, Adrian takes us back to Fukushima for a look at where the recovery stands.
Parts of Fukushima are still frozen in time. Parking lots overrun with vegetation. Wild boar have had their run of the place, and radiation levels are still too high for some to return. It's been a decade since the earthquake turned tsunami turned nuclear accident. And with the Olympics, the Japanese government wanted to show the world the recovery. But the world couldn't show up. Had it done so, there might have been questions. Big ones about little things, like this rice paddy.
Which is interesting, because if you come with me here, over here is a field of bags of contaminated, radiated soil.
Life is getting better. Some insist it's safer, but where is the real recovery? The road to Fukushima tomorrow on The National.
Here at home, Toronto Raptors fans will have to say goodbye to one of the team's most loved players. Star guard Kyle Lowry confirmed today he'll play in Miami next season, ending a storied 9-season run with Toronto. Over that time, the 6-time All-Star became the face of the Raptors and the franchise's all-time leader in multiple categories, and of course helped win the NBA championship in 2019. Still ahead tonight, one athlete's incredible performance on the track.
So they had a little quicker third lap, and there's the carnage, and Hassan has gone down.
How a Dutch runner picked herself up after that fall in the morning to win gold in the evening. But first, what you need to know about the price of your favorite restaurant wine. Welcome back. After months of lockdowns, many of us are dining out again and looking at the wine list for the first time in a while. Restaurants, of course, mark up their prices, but some are marked up more than others. So how can you get the most bang for your buck? Jacqueline Hansen has some answers.
When it comes to picking a wine, price can be as influential as a person's palate.
Not the cheapest, but also not the most expensive either. Somewhere in the middle.
To sit and sip at a restaurant means also paying a premium.
I'm okay with it because it comes with the service and the experience.
There's a theory swirling that the second cheapest bottle of wine has the biggest markup because restaurants know that's the one more people are going to choose.
People, when they order the cheapest on a menu, they tend to feel a bit embarrassed. And so they may try to avoid looking cheap and go up 1 or 2 notches.
This economist in the UK put that theory to the test.
Yes, it is marked up compared to the cheapest bottle, but it's actually better than the 3rd cheapest, the 4th cheapest.
His advice, go low end or high. He found the biggest markups are in the middle, but the research based on all London wine lists can only give Canadians a taste of what's happening here.
It takes a massive group of people to make hospitality work, and that's why wines are priced the way that they are.
In parts of Canada, there's more behind the math.
People think that restaurants get discounts on wine, and it's actually the opposite. And we pay the similar price plus the HST plus the bottle deposit. So it ends up being a little bit more actually than what the general public pays.
The restaurant industry.
In some regions, that's changing.
Many provinces are being more progressive in terms of how they're helping restaurants to survive and ultimately revive themselves post this pandemic.
British Columbia is one example. It started to allow wholesale pricing during the pandemic, but Ontario and Manitoba haven't budged.
Anything less than equal would be wonderful, but we're advocating for a 20% reduction.
And since restaurants are still in recovery mode, pouring money into stocking a wide variety of wines may not be possible.
People's wine lists will start to shorten a little bit.
Narrowing down the choices for consumers, but leaving the complexity of the price on the table. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Next, the push to honor the victims of residential schools. How one community in the Northwest Territories chose to memorialize its unmarked graves, and why some say it's just a start.
I'm Anthony Nerestan. Tomorrow on CBC's Daily News podcast, Front Burner, one woman's experience using magic mushrooms therapeutically and why some are pushing for greater legal access to the drug in Canada. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. There are growing calls for a national inquiry into the 60s scoop. In a letter, the former chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Murray Sinclair, and a group representing survivors are calling on the federal government to conduct a formal inquiry into that period from the 1950s to the early 1980s. It's estimated more than 20,000 children were removed from their homes and placed with non-Indigenous families. But the group says the actual number could be much higher. As Canada continues to struggle with the legacy of residential schools, earlier this summer, Juanita Taylor visited a community in the Northwest Territories for a look at how they've honored victims there and the work that still needs to be done.
Smell the wood fire, make tea, and very peaceful.
Inside her teepee is where Kathy Pope finds solace. It's what she was seeking in 2018 when she traveled over 600 kilometers to honor people buried in an unmarked grave.
It was something I'll never forget.
The traditional Dene ceremony left a lasting impression on Pope. Many of the dead were residential school students. 3 were her relatives.
I was very happy and very sad, all so mixed emotions, so very much.
The graves are here in Fort Providence, near the site of the Sacred Heart Residential School. It operated between 1867 and 1960. Today, this monument memorializes around 300 people buried here, including 161 children, brought to the school from up and down the Mackenzie River Valley.
A sacred area for our family, for our community here in Fort Providence.
Albert Lafferty says people in Fort Providence talked about the unmarked graves for years. His Dene ancestors are buried here too. In the early 90s, Lafferty led a push to ensure the old burial ground would never be developed. They brought in ground-penetrating equipment to search for remains.
All of our ancestors and all of the children who are buried here, so it's a very special and sacred place for us.
Lafferty worked with the Roman Catholic Diocese of Mackenzie, Fort Smith, and Yellowknife to find out who they were. And his research also confirmed what the community had already feared, that in 1948, the church plowed over the burial ground, but not before relocating 8 missionaries to the community's current cemetery. Lafferty says then the church turned the site into a potato field.
Yes, it is unsettling as to why that was necessary, but we don't have the precise answers for that. From Fort Good Hope, when I was 12 years old.
In 1994, the efforts of Lafferty and others paid off, and a monument was erected to honor the people buried here.
And getting the names and the monument project itself offers some sense of closure. There's still a lot more work to be done for survivors and descendants.
Sam Gargan is a former Grand Chief of the Decho First Nations. He also went to residential school.
I spent just about one winter with my parents. But as soon as the church found out where I was, they came to where I was and they grabbed me with the RCMP.
Gargan says the monument is only a start.
In order for our people of my generation and even our children's generation to heal and that process to begin, you have to hear an apology from the church and from the RCMP.
But for Kathy Pope, the monument has been an important part of her healing journey.
I never ever used that word closure, so, it gave me peace of mind.
Pope plans to make the trip back to Fort Providence.
So they feel they're not forgotten.
That was the CBC's Juanita Taylor reporting. The moment is up next on The National.
And she's going to come through and get all the way to the front.
Tonight, it is an incredible comeback for a runner at Tokyo 2020. We'll be right back.
I'm David Ridgen, and this is The Next Call.
I can't let it go.
I noticed a car coming towards me.
I need to find her. She deserves that much.
The Next Call, now available on CBC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.
When did you last see your father?
You're him, aren't you?
So they had a little quicker third lap, and there's the carnage, and Hassan has gone down.
It's one thing to fall and get back up, but to fall, get back up, and then win, that is the stuff of Olympic lore. And it's why a Dutch runner, now a gold medalist, is the star of tonight's moment. Safan Hassan won gold today in the 5,000-meter race, but her journey to the podium was a bit bumpy.
It was so hard when I started the race, but I win still, and I'm so happy. I have to grateful for this one.
Hours before her medal win in another event, the 1,500-meter heat, she fell, but incredibly got up and won.
Getting up off the deck to not only qualify, but win the heat.
The 28-year-old is hoping for triple gold. She'll race in the 1500 semifinal later this week and hopes to do the same in the 10,000 meter.
When I come from home to Tokyo, I really had my dream.
She would be the first person to win all 3 titles. Now, to do this, she'll have to win 6 races, or at least take part in 6 races, long, grueling races over 8 days. But here's why. I don't know if she's a favorite, but certainly she's well positioned to do this. Only one person at the World Championships has won the 10,000 and the 1500, and she's the person who did that. So one more thing to look forward to in the second week of the Olympics. That is the National for August the 2nd. Good night.